I've Moby in the garage today and I'm going to crack on with the bodywork. There's just the one hole here that requires welding at the back of the left hand side wheel arch. Other than that, there's about 7 or 8 little rust blisters, maybe even not so little, quite big ones, where rust has bubbled up from the join, mostly in cases where the special high roof joins the original roof of the car as it left the factory. I don't think there's any structural problems there. I think once I just clean that back, remove all the rust, I can filler it over, sand that down nice and smooth, and then I've actually got a local motor factors to make up some paint to Moby's paint code, and hopefully by using that at the end of the day, Moby will be looking fairly smart. Because I'm going to be welding, I need to disconnect the battery, so I have to pop the bonnet. Look, a working door handle. If I didn't disconnect this, it could do damage to the electrics of the car, including the coil. Okay, so I'll poke this rust out of here and I'll wire wheel this all around and see how much we're dealing with. It's not as bad as I thought. It's just the top plane, this bit here, that needs something welded in. The remains of this wire brush is actually really handy for small stuff like this. Can dry this out a bit with an air line. I'll have to treat all these corners from the inside later, but we'll just deal with this outside rust for now. I made a little paper template of what I want to block the hole. Convert that to a piece of metal now. There's my little repair piece bent into shape. I'll put it in there. I'll mark around it now, and then I just cut the car so that this then slots straight into place. I'll cut that there now. Looks good. I'll just weld this in now all the way around. I've welded that whole section in now. I'll tidy this up with the flap wheel on the grinder. With that rear corner repair ready for filler and finishing, I'm now going to continue onto some of the other rust spots around the car, and I'll do all that stuff kind of together in sequence as I have the tools out and everything for doing that. I'd love to actually be removing the glass and going in around the edge here, but for the moment I'm just going to have to do the exposed surface, and maybe if someday I'm going to go for a full body respray with Moby, we'll get the windows out and we'll do the edges there. But most of the rust seems to be focused here anyway. It's not something that's spread from underneath the rubber and coming out, so I think it will largely eradicate the problem if I deal with it out here, and I'll be just able to extend the finishing at a later date if we ever strip it down for a full respray. It's unusual the way it's cracked here, and the paint can just chip jet like that. The metal is nice and flat underneath it. I've never quite seen rust patches like that on the car before, but the metal underneath is grand. I'll peel off the rubber seal here. Oh, it's such a relief. You know, my assessment looking at it was it wouldn't be serious underneath, but it really is. It's just surface rust. That's the most intense bit there, and I think if that had been left much longer, like a year or two, then it would have been something serious to deal with there. Water trap there. So it probably cracked. You know, it's probably a little stress crack in the movement in the join of these things, and then the water got in and then slowly worked its way along. But they must have used good steel for the conversion. I'm sure that cleaned up pretty well now. Obviously, with this being around the petrol filler, I'm not going to use a wire brush on it or anything. I'll use sandpaper, but I think I can chance going at it with a screwdriver just around here. I think we better fill that up with something so we don't get any more dirt in the petrol than has been in there already. As long as I can get this out again afterwards, it'll be fine. As you can see, that took a fair bit of prep. Delighted to be getting going on this now. Great, let's get some filler on it. I'll mix up a bit of filler now for those repairs. And I'm going to use a little bit more hardener than I did the last time. If you're watching one of the episodes there, when I was working on Chewy, it took it ages for it to harden. I won't use too much. You can always get out more, but if you have too much of this stuff, you end up just wasting it. So just do a small bit at a time. It's plenty now, and mix it in really well. Okay, let's get that on the car. Leave it. Yeah, I think let's clean it off and go just make that separation with the rubber with a clean edge. Fairly challenging shapes, to be honest. You know, it didn't seem like that much filler. Do you know the time it's taking? It's going to start going off pretty soon. I'm going to be working that in pretty fast. Up to the big area around the far side now, quick. It's funny when you get around to working on some of the details on this car, you begin to appreciate the engineering that went into it and extending this tailgate. That would have been the normal car there, and this piece must have been made up to go onto it. That's the join, and there's a little plate welded on there. Beautiful work, really. Nice one. I don't normally use this stuff, but I'm after finding some rust converter, and the reason I don't normally use it, I normally can get things clean enough, but some of this is still looking just a tiny bit hungry, and I don't want to just cover it up and have a problem in a couple of years' time. So I'm going to use a bit of this rust stopper. Oh, this is very wet. I think you leave that on there for 15 minutes, and you put on a tiny bit more, wipe it straight off, and then it's good in half an hour. I'll do this one by hand because I'm near where there potentially is fumes from the fuel tank. I'm thinking that other than the scar here, that's just going to be too hard to work on with filler and stuff. I think I'll just do the filler here, and we'll just paint that. It's hidden away. So I'll end up covering up the screws and everything, so no, I think definitely we'll just rough that up, get it good and clean, and get a bit of paint on those areas, and it'll be fine. Use a bit of the rust treatment on that as well. Just this bit here to finish off by hand.